I too would like to thank the Board of PACT for this honor. I'm very humbled, really, to be listed among the very distinguished people that you heard introduced earlier in the program, as well as this year's other honorees, Judge Ladoris Cordell, as well as my boss and colleague, Sanjay Mehrotra. While I have been very active with many community organizations over the years, I have to confess that somehow PACT had never met it on my radar screen. However, since hearing about this award, I have researched the organization. I've talked to many members on the board. I've also talked to friends and colleagues who have worked with PACT over the years, and I have to say that my respect and admiration for the organization has grown tremendously. One aspect of PACT that truly resonates with me personally, and I think we heard a little bit of it in the earlier comments from the people up here, is the work that you do with newly arrived immigrants. You see, all four of my grandparents were also immigrants to this country. I was born and raised on the East Coast, so they came from Eastern Europe. All four came from Poland, to be specific. So my parents were first-born generation, and of course, I'm a second-born U.S. generation. Like many people who are PACT benefactors, my grandparents arrived in the U.S. with no material possessions at all. But in hindsight, they had something even more valuable, and you saw a glimpse of that again this morning. They had a passion and a determination to make their lives better and also to improve the lives of their future descendants. None of my grandparents had a high school education. However, they all believed in the value of education as an enormously important foundation to improve the quality of life. With their encouragement, each succeeding generation of my family has improved its education level and our quality of lives. And I'm happy to say that my wife, Abby, and I have successfully continued that emphasis on education with our three boys. I think this pattern of striving for more education to enable a better life is not uncommon among immigrant families, and PACT has certainly helped many people work through the challenges of getting into education for themselves and their families. So I applaud PACT for its efforts to help people realize their potential and advocate for a better, more fulfilling life. Speaking of a better life, I'd like to comment on the work that we've done at SanDisk. 3 years ago, as Dan mentioned, Sanjay had the idea of recognizing our 25th anniversary, not through parties or gifts to the people, but really to giving back into the community. He set a very inspiring and challenging goal of getting 100% employee participation. I have to confess that since I and my staff had to achieve that, it was a very daunting goal. I tried to talk him down a little bit, but I'm happy that we did it. It really was very ambitious because this meant we had to engage over 6,000 people around the world in many areas that volunteerism is not as common as it is here in the U.S. And it's amazing to admit that before we started this drive, we had a very low rate of volunteerism, about 14%. In that particular year and in the years forward, we've really been very proud of our ability to achieve a rate of over 90% participation. It's been very interesting to watch this service ethos evolve. We make it fun and easy for employees to participate, organizing over 100 activities per year where employees team up to make a meaningful difference in their community. We get such positive feedback from our employees around the world about how satisfying it is to help their community, as well as to connect with a colleague in a meaningful but non-work task. Our employees, like many people around the world and in this country, are very busy with their lives, meeting work demands, raising families, and juggling the many demands on their time. So providing accessible volunteer activities is part of the secret sauce of obtaining and sustaining their active involvement. we found that most people want to contribute to the communities. Unfortunately, many find that they can't get over the hurdles of everyday life to participate with a community organization. Most of you in this room are an exception to that. You're actively involved with PACT or other organizations. So I have a challenge for you, which I hope you'll accept. Tell a friend or a colleague about the satisfaction that you receive from your community involvement, and that you're willing to share that same satisfaction with them by including them in an event in your favorite organization. I'm sure that they will enjoy it, and you will feel proud to have increased the contribution to your favorite cause, and together you will raise the level of social impact for us all. In closing, I again want to thank the committee for honoring both Sanjay and I with this recognition. I accept both awards really on behalf of the entire SanDisk community, the men and the women and their children and families who have so joyfully made a difference throughout the world. And one more thing before I go, if you'll indulge me, I'd like to ask my colleagues up here from SanDisk to stand and give a little quick SanDisk cheer. You all know it, okay? You all know the two-word cheer. We could do it for the audience. You ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3, go SanDisk!